Hello and good morning. Welcome to Quantum Heart Awakening. I am Karen, and today we are going to do a Divine Masculine check-in. Okay, reminding everyone that we all have inner masculine and inner feminine energies. Deep breath, everyone. Okay, Spirit, what do we need to know about the masculine energy right now? What is the masculine energy confronting? What are the blocks they need to overcome? What are the blocks to love? Anything for masculines? Okay, milk and honey in reverse. Okay, to be fair in reverse, that's a temperance card, struggling to bring things into balance. We have cards flying all over the place. We have happy, happy in reverse, and blessed. Okay. Okay, masculines. For the masculine energy, sorry, it's just, bear with me. It's coming through in weird chunks. Okay, I see what's happening. This is what's currently happening, and this is what needs to happen. That's where we are. And in the unconscious position, we have breathe. Oh, beloved masculines, take a deep breath. Bring yourself back to your body, back to the awareness of the air at the end of your nose. You can feel that it's a little colder than the air in your lungs. Just come back to ground. Okay. So masculine energy right now is struggling to access their desire, their ultimate vision, their ultimate outcome. They're struggling to access the happiness of the manifestation of what they're working on. There's something here that's blocking masculine energy from bringing a bit of balance to the desire. I mean, let's be honest, when we want something really badly, it's completely understandable that you get a little caught up in the future moment, right? And you've heard me say a million times, this is an energy anatomy principle, that we're all trying to live life in a way that gets and keeps our energy in present time, right? Be here now. That's like the thing, right? Over and over again. That's the mantra. So masculine energy right now is struggling to balance out this like present day to day with this future desire. There's another message coming through that what they thought would be their land of milk and honey, their like ultimate desire fulfilled, their ultimate outcome, is no longer satiating their whatever their desire is in the present moment. This could also be a self-esteem thing. This also could be a little bit of a worthiness piece where they don't think they're worthy of their ultimate land of milk and honey, whatever that is for you, masculine. Yeah, I mean, this is like a really simple message in my I'm like a very stubborn intellectual, and I like to peel back 40 layers, and sometimes there's nothing under those layers, but I keep staring at it until, So masculines, this is an exercise for myself as well, and I voiced that for a reason. It might be for you as well. Sometimes there might not be work to do. Sometimes a moment just gets to be a sacred moment where you feel loved, where you allow the love that's all around you to actually permeate through those many layers of self, of soul, of mental, emotional, physical, all those barriers, right? And really trust that you are blessed. It's such a sweet and simple message, masculines, that you are being asked that you are blessed, or asked to trust that you are blessed, to surrender to these blessings, trusting that they will unfurl in divine timing. It's not up to you, right? There's some points, we can prepare all our lives, but at the end of the day, there are things that are out of our control. Actually, most things are out of our control, but our ego and our, nervous system try to push that very true thought away because it doesn't give us more safety, right? It gives us more safety to maintain the illusion that we're in control of everything, or that we can become in control of everything, right? We can control ourselves. We control our awareness and our consciousness. And honestly, that's about it. Everything else is like kind of orbiting around us. And if you believe in soul contracts, or that we're here in Earth School all learning different things, well, there's like a million other, classes going on that you don't have control over. Sometimes people's soul contracts are in progress around you, and they intersect with your soul contract, or they intersect with your life, and their path may or may not have something to do with your path, but usually it's just this thing that's going around you, that's happening in your environment. You're being called back to this inner feminine principle of trusting and surrendering to the mystery. Okay, anything else, Spirit? Anything else for masculines? It's a really sweet task, masculines. This isn't, I don't want to demean or degrade the difficulty this might be for some of you, but let me say this. It's not a complex task. It's a single task. So I'm not saying it's easy. But it's not as complex as it has been in the past, which should give you hope and deep nourishment and fulfillment, because you've accomplished things that are much harder than this task. That's the point of what I'm trying to say here. Okay. Anything else for masculines? What would support them in being content in the now and trusting that they're doing everything they can and that they're worthy in this moment, even if they haven't gotten to their ultimate goal? How can, what would support them? What do they need to look at? What's blocking? It's so funny. I've been so acutely aware of how I'm asking questions, and my spirit keeps calling me back and calling me out. Don't ask the fluffy one, ask the hard one. I'm like, oh, fine. Okay. So what's blocking masculines from achieving this kind of inner presence, inner peace? Yeah. I mean, I literally just said this. Let me move the unconscious card. We don't really need that anymore, but self-love. I mean, it's in reverse. Masculines, you're being called to, again, didn't I say this earlier in the video, that it's a self-esteem, it's a worthiness issue? Okay, what's blocking this self-love? I mean, come on. We have love in reverse. Oh my goodness gracious. Teaching and learning and spiritual career came out sideways. Let me do it like this. Oh man, there's so much to say. There is so much to say, beautiful masculines. Yeah, and I wasn't going to look because there's more than enough on the table, but I freaking had to look. Wait, is that on camera? That's not on camera. Let me put it up here. We have leadership. We have freaking leadership in the unconscious position. So what's being pushed into the shadow, masculines? What are you avoiding looking at? What are you pushing into the shadows that you get to take accountability for? Your skills and your ability to step into leadership. This tells me that it's already there, and you actually know in your mind, body, gut, heart, sex, brain, spirit, whatever, you know that you're a born leader. There's something here that you're meant to lead. And yet all of this self-love, maybe it's external love, experiences with love, maybe it's the love of your parents that you either did or did not receive, or your perception of what that childhood experience was, that's blocking this awareness and trust in this love, that you are actually worthy, that you can actually show up and share your gifts, and that you will not only be loved, it's like more than that, that you will take your rightful place in the sun, that you will sit on your throne and be revered for what only you know, for what only you can share. We all have our own throne, so this is not about a hierarchical thing. This is not about comparing. This is about you looking at who you, of all the parts of, sorry, hold on, I'm getting ahead of myself. There's so many things coming in. This is about you honoring where all of your internal parts have been and where you are now. Honor how far you've come. Celebrate if you can even identify that your part is having an experience, or that there's a part that's telling you a story about yourself that isn't true, then you are doing incredibly well. You are deep down the path if you can identify that this is just a story, right? This is a story that is showing up, and identify that it is in conflict with my divine self. Right? Look at the situation through the lens of the highest and best possible interpretation, right? There's a part of me I'm going to talk about my internal part now. This is how you do parts work. There's a part of me, there's a part of self, and you can give it a name if that's easier. We'll call her Sally. There's a part in me named Sally that is struggling to believe in her self-worth, that knows she's meant for something greater, that can tap into her divine knowing, right? She has the wisdom and the access, but when you drop it down to the lower three chakras, when you actually have to do the dirty work of bringing that spiritual truth down into the realm of matter, it's a much different ball game, right? It's a horse of another color. It takes so much more out of your physical, mental, emotional self to drag, quite literally drag this spiritual truth and anchor it in the realm of matter, right? There's something to be said for choosing the path of least resistance. There's something here that if you feel that you're doing this arduous work of dragging these things and dragging yourself across the finish line, then to me, that's telling me that you are leaving a piece behind. If you feel that this is heavy and you're dragging something, stop. Stop what you're doing, pause the work, pause the pressure on self, pause all of these like crazy expectations that you have on yourself to be someone, to do something, to accomplish something other than where you are in this present moment. If you feel like you're dragging something behind you, it's because you're meant to look behind you and take care of those internal parts that are having experiences. And if you continue to drag all of this weight behind you, you are in this perpetual cycle of abandoning and rejecting those parts, right? You should feel light and fluffy and airy and excited and filled and ignited and on fire and filled with your life force to move forward and to invest that sacred, precious life force in your soul mission, in your family, in your friends, in your hobbies, in your creativity, in your relationships. So if you feel that you're in a heavy moment of life, and we all go through this, so let's not pretend we're unique, right? We all go through this process of illumination, this process of awakening to some unclaimed and rejected part of self. Oh, I just got full body chills. Deep breaths, masculines, deep breaths. If you find yourself dragging yourself toward a finish line, you're meant to pause. Maybe you're meant to circle back and do another lap to see. I'll quote my favorite mentor, James Finley. What we're doing on this path, hold on, I'm getting emotional now. I just got like dizzy. I almost lost my footing. I started like moving. So this is bigger than I thought. When that happens to my body, when I kind of lose my footing like that, it's bigger. The longitude and latitude of this thing is so profound that it may knock you off your feet, masculines. That's okay. What do you do in that case? Sit down, right? Wait, hold on. Where is it? There we go. Sit down, kneel, lay down, do what you have to do to breathe these truths in, to breathe this unclaimed, rejected, abandoned part of self in. Allow it to take up space. Allow yourself, welcome the integration of this part back into your soul, back into your spirit, back into your heart, back into your home, masculines. Deep breaths. It's a lot. It's a lot. I'm not going to pretend it's not. I know. It's a lot. Okay. Where was I when I was saying that? I'll have to go back and look to see what I was talking about when I kind of got knocked off kilter a little bit. But yeah, you're meant to pause. And maybe when you look back behind you and you actually take the time and presence to see what you're dragging behind you, you will actually be able to finally release it. And how beautiful and sacred would it be to take another step forward on your path without all that weight, right? Without dragging all that shit behind you. I didn't even get to these two, but I just want to let this kind of move. I'm going to have some tea while we're figuring some stuff out. Do any of you put coconut oil in your tea? I did this morning. It's interesting. I mean, it keeps my lips nice and oily and moist, so that's something. It tastes pretty good too. Anyway, moving on. Let's drop back in. Whew. Okay, so we have teaching and learning and spiritual career sideways. To me, there's something in progress, but it has been stunted or halted for a divine reason. Again, masculines, you're being called to walk this path towards leadership, but how do you expect to lead others when you are struggling to lead yourself? Right? That's not a small thing I just said. Let's let it take up some space. How can you expect to lead others when there are parts of self that you are struggling to lead? This is another reason to pause and look back behind you. What have you been dragging with you this whole time? What have you been avoiding looking at? It is time. You are being tasked with taking accountability. Remember, this isn't accountability to shame you. This isn't accountability to cause more pain and strife in your life. This is sacred accountability. This is freedom accountability. This is stepping into your most profound version of self, the sovereign self. You're stepping into quite literally your sovereignty and reclaiming these what's the word I'm looking for? Abandoned and rejected parts of self. That wasn't the word. Those weren't the words I was looking for. I can't think of the word. It's going to bother me. Whatever, moving on. You have this leadership within you, but it starts within your own interior castle, right? It starts within your sacred temple, the temple that's between your ears, right? I mean, the other thing too, I sometimes when cards come out like this, and they did come out like this, sometimes I also look at these as like a spinning Merkaba, and I'm laughing because there's Merkabas everywhere, or Merkabas, I don't know how to say it, but it reminds me of the yin yang. So like, as you teach and learn, it will nurture your spiritual career, and as you nurture your spiritual career, you will learn and teach more. Like it's a cycle that feeds itself. If you look at the yin yang, we have the little black part and the white part and the white part and the black part, right? We have a little yin in the yang and a little yang in the yin. And so there's something here about as you take a step forward to teach and learn about self, you're literally teaching yourself about yourself. Right? How do we do that? Well, how does that even make sense? When we dare to love our vulnerable and abandoned and rejected parts of self, we open to the mystery. We open Pandora's box. Sorry, that sounds a little dramatic. That's too dramatic of an idea, but it's just coming up in me. So for some reason, I was meant to say it. We lovingly, compassionately open Pandora's box with empathy, grounded in divine love, right? Trauma is disconnection from spiritual experience. So anytime you're not connected to that divine love source, to oneness, to Christ consciousness, to the quantum field, whatever your flavor of oneness is, we are in a version of trauma. So anytime you take a step forward on your path, you have to make sure that you're bringing that profound divine love with you. If you're not able to bring that love with you, you're moving too fast. Slow down and maybe even stop. Look behind you. Where did that love go? Where can you access it? Where can you cultivate and excavate that love again? What does that process look like for you? When have you felt that divine love? Is it in a church? Is it in a mosque? Is it in a temple? Is it in nature? Is it playing with your children or your nieces and nephews, or being around the elderly? Sorry, I'm getting emotional. I don't know why, but it's just, where do you feel those things? You're meant to cultivate them in a more intentional and conscious way. Okay, masculines. Wow, really beautiful and clear message. Let's get some ancestor cards. Wow. I'm just really kind of touched by this message. And do you understand? I mean, I think a lot of feminines watch me, a lot of people who would maybe say they have a more predominant feminine energy. Oops, I just exploded all these cards. And what was I saying? Can you see, feminines, if you're watching and you feel you're more of a feminine energy, or you're whatever, can you see how universal these feminine and masculine narratives are? Nothing I said today is inherently masculine or part of the masculine archetypal system. It is just a journey of a person who has a psyche and a consciousness, a person who has a heart, who has love, who has the capacity for life, right? Nothing that I said was inherently masculine. I mean, maybe there was something that I missed, but these narratives, I sometimes wonder, is it hindering some of you by me calling these masculine or feminine readings? You can share, these readings are meant to be a dialogue. Please dare to put your thoughts in the comments. Please. There's so much, this is a safe container with a grain of salt. It's YouTube and it's public. So, you wield your wise discernment to see if that's something that's in alignment with your system. But we're meant to talk about these things, right? And I'm curious if you think it behooves the reach of the message if it's inherently masculine or feminine. I'm wondering if people don't listen, because really this is a collective reading for all of us. So maybe I'll try. Maybe I'll take a month and only do collective readings. I'm curious. But then, sometimes people are drawn toward the title. So, you never know with these things. Okay, Spirit, anything else for this beloved divine masculine energy? Anything else? I will sit here all day if I need to. Anything else? Okay. Oh, I'm taking all of these. We're doing it. We are doing it. We have mountains. Stand your ground, right? Hold your center for love, masculines, in this flavor of chaos. Let me tell you, when you turn around and look back at all the crap that you've been dragging, wait, hold on. Let's reframe. I don't want to call it crap because it's sacred data. It's sacred information. I take that back, okay? Let's call it what it is. It is that sack of crap that you've been dragging is sacred. It holds all of the experiences, feelings, emotional truths of your internal parts. It is not crap, or maybe it's divine crap. I don't know what we want to call it. So stand your ground in this flavor of chaos in looking behind you, because let me tell you, when you look behind you and you go to that sack of stuff you've been carrying and open it up and finally choose to look it directly in the eye, it's going to become this vortex. And vortexes aren't always bad, but they can sometimes knock us off kilter, right? And so how much love, compassion, and stillness and breath can you bring to that moment when that happens, or if that happens? We have the wise one. Go within your current situation. We have Lord, take charge with authority, and it was in the reverse. I'm just going to We also have Shaman, trust in higher forces. This isn't an accident that these types of messages are in reverse. And then we have Medicine Mother, honor your inner knowing, call upon your inner feminine, right, masculines? And then we have Shield Maiden, make plans and focus in reverse. We started this off in the beginning with the message that this is not time to penetrate the world, masculines. This is not time to launch that thing or build something new or, lead in an external way. This is a time of leading in the internal. Lead your heart through the forest of chaos as you step deeper through these emotional truths, right? So again, we have trust in higher forces and take charge with authority. Again, this is a sit back on your throne energy. Trust in your connection to source. Trust in your connection to the grid of unconditional love and infinite oneness. You are not doing this work in a vacuum. What is in one is in the all. What is in the all is in the one. So when you do this sacred work, you do it for the collective. When the collective does this work, they do it for you. There is no separation. And I know that can be very difficult for some, but it's true. And so we're learning to calibrate our system to hold that very high level, massive vibration. It's not a small thing, right? We have this beautiful wise one card. It says, grow within your current situation. This wise woman with the owl on her shoulder, the owl is the wise one. The owl symbolizes the divine gnosis that we all have access to. I'm just laughing in what's being pushed into the unconscious. I literally said this earlier. Sky Father, trust in the unknown. I get it, masculines. It is terrifying to put your trust in something that you cannot see. But you know what? When you turn in and create sacred, safe space, you will be able to feel the divine width and breadth of the unknown. So even though you can't see it, you will be able to feel the love, to feel the intensity, the intimidation, the maybe even grief or sorrow of the unknown, right? Because the unknown is reflecting back to you what's really within you. So when you can stare into the void, when you could stare into the mystery and just surrender to what's being shown to you, then take radical accountability for what you see and feel. That is how you step powerfully into the unknown. That is how you step in sovereignty towards towards the shadows, towards the mystery. Wow, masculines. Powerful, powerful reading. Let's get some divine masculine Buddha wisdom. Anything else you'd like to share with these masculines, with this masculine energy? Anything else, Spirit? Anything else? Let's take them. Guard your mind with vigilance. Nurture the positive and remove the negative. Your mind will find peace. Again, this is training ourselves, training our hearts, training our psyches to be able to choose the lens of the highest and best possible interpretation. If you're struggling to do that, ask yourself where in that moment, like try to do it. And if you cannot reach, if still that negative or pessimistic or judgmental, critical voice comes through, write it down, get it out of you, purge it somewhere. If you don't want to write it down, create an art project, create a drawing or a painting or work with clay, create something that, give this energetic manifestation of a physical vessel to get it out of your system. Look not for recognition. Follow your heart. Liberate yourself within. Again, keep your ego in check. I get that running into leadership and wanting to build and create and launch and all these things might feed your ego right now. It might validate you externally, but your work is in validating self internally, right? This is your work. You don't need the external validation because you know what? When you tap dance your way towards external validation, it's from outside of you, so it can be taken away from you. When you not tap dance, you're not performing for others, for the external reality, but when you actually turn inward, masculines. When you turn inward and mother and parent those parts of self that have been rejected, abandoned, or that are just straight up struggling, right? You reclaim your power. You gift yourself an endless gift. It's like the gift that keeps on giving. It can never, ever, ever be taken away from you once you've achieved that level of presence, that level of awareness, that level of self-love. It can never be taken away from you. So I ask that you liberate yourself from within. And then again, this is, something that we've called masculine energy out for many times. Do not let pleasure distract you, masculines, for in craving pleasure comes sorrow, right? Attachment is suffering. Do not attach yourself to external pleasure. It'll only bring pain and suffering because, again, why? It is fleeting. It can be taken away from you. Do not let pleasure distract you. Mind you, this could be physical pleasure. This could be external, like sexual connections and relations. This could be eating. This could be scrolling on social media. This could be staying up really late watching movies, even though you have to wake up early and be a, good parent and go to work and, do your job there. And do not let this pleasure distract you. Again, do not let this pleasure distract you, for in craving pleasure comes sorrow, masculines. Beautiful, beautiful, profound reading. I'm sending you all so much love. Take care of your bodies. Take care of self. Hydrate. Eat nutritious food. Move the body. Connect with friends. Connect with loved ones. Go help someone else, right? If you're struggling yourself, be in service to someone else. It always works. It always feels good. It always feels good. And I'm going to call you out a little bit, or call all of us out a little bit. Do something kind for someone without needing the validation or reflection. Do a sacred act of kindness and remain anonymous, remain unknown. Leave something fun on your coworker's desk. Leave something for the homeless where they're not seeing you, something like that. Like, try to hide your goodwill and allow that gift to fill you up. I promise. Oh, I'm getting emotional now because it's so sacred and it works every time. It will fill you up when you do that anonymous act of kindness. It will gift you so much life force. I promise you, go try it. Sending you all so much love. I hope this was supportive. I will see you in the next one.